Good evening, everybody. It is Dr. Angela Kudger, the founder of Legacy Holistic Health Institute, where we make great health coaches. And tonight we have the amazing Kara Melendy. She is an Akashic astrologer. And tonight we're going to be exploring the Akashic records. Now, it's okay if you've never heard of the Akashic Records, or if you're ready to dive deeper into this topic, do two things for us. Let us know that you can hear us and let us know that you can see us, and then make sure you share this live stream out. Looks like people are already jumping on, so hit us in the comments and let us know that you can hear us and you can see us, and then we're going to jump into the content. Tonight, we're going to be exploring the Akashic Records. I learned about the Akashic Records actually just 2 years ago and discovered that it was this amazing thing, and I thought it would be great to bring it to everyone else. So while you guys are jumping on and you're looking at everything and you're listening, she says, "Hi, I can hear you and I can see you guys." Excellent. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the content. Over the next 35 to 40 minutes or so, we're going to be diving into this particular topic. Now, if you've already heard of the Akashic Records, make sure you put in the comments, "Yes, I'm ready to dive in. Yes, I've already heard of it." Or if it's completely new to you, say, "Yes, it's new to me and I want to know more." So while they're doing that, Kara, can you please tell these amazing people, I've worked with you before. I know how awesome you are. I know how exceedingly knowledgeable you are. But can you please share with people who are watching and the replay viewers how you came to be an Akashic astrologer and just a little bit about your journey?
Sure. Thank you, Angela. Oh, it's such an honor to be here in your incredible community at such a powerful time. And I'm eager to hear where people are on their journey of the Akashic Records, whether this is completely new, they've had readings, they've heard of it, or maybe they're working the space themselves, they're a master in this area. It's always fun to kind of feel into that and know that. So yes, I'm an Akashic Records practitioner. I'm also a master astrologer, and I really love combining the two together. And as far as like the astrology piece, from a young age, I was really drawn to astrology. Like I was that kid that was reading horoscopes in the magazines, those teen magazines. Years ago, I would go right to the horoscope section. It's just always, it really spoke to me. I think we all have things on our journey that speak to us, that call to us. And no matter where our life takes us, it's like we're redirected back to that path. Yeah. So one of those things for me was definitely astrology. And it goes hand in hand with my love of people, human behavior, studying the mind, because astrology like really helps you dive in and really helps you be able to do that. So astrology was always there, basically, always a part of my journey. And as far as the Akashic Records, I feel it came into my life at the perfect time, which I know also happens with our energy work and things that were meant to receive on our life journey that are part of our path. And what really got me into it is I was drawn to this incredible woman online her name's Emily Harrison, and she is a mentor in the Akashic Records. And I was just drawn to her energy. And then I discovered that she did readings. And it just felt that pull, like there was some things in my life I wanted deeper insight into at that time. And I really felt like this is the way to go. And I got so much more than I could have ever imagined from that reading, like my questions answered, but so much more, right? And once we dive into the Akashic Records, people will understand that on a deeper level, like why you get so much from it. But it basically changed my life in the best of ways. In my business, it redirected me to kind of my soul's work and what I was here to do. So it brought a lot of clarity. Even financially, that year after working in the records, I doubled my yearly income.
Wow.
Which was cool, right? Who doesn't want to do that? So that was amazing. But it just felt so aligned with like, this is my soul purpose. This is what I'm here to do. So really beautiful. And it spoke to me so much that I wanted to go along and get certified in the Akashic Records so I could learn to work within this space myself and share it with other people. So I'm kind of a teacher at heart. So when I find something that really resonates with me and that kind of changes my life and speaks to me, I want others to experience that magic for themselves.
That's a huge, giving to me is a huge part of alignment, right? There's a method that I teach, and the G in align is for giving, right? And I think that's just amazing that not only that you go and get the information that you needed to help shift your own life, but then you turn around and made sure you got what you needed to help other people. I absolutely love that move. And I think that it is something that a lot more people probably need to do. Now, for those of you who are watching tonight, after you get this information, Kara has been so nice and gracious to put together a meditation for us. And so if you want access to that meditation, you're going to text the word life to the number 678-585-6229. Now, it's going to ask you a couple of questions. Make sure you just fill out that survey, because it is for us to bring you great content and to make sure that you get the support you need in this tribe. And then that meditation will come straight through so you can download it. Okay. All right. Let's jump in, Kara. So we now know that you're amazing, right? Now know how you got your life changed with Emily Harrison, right? Was your mentor. And so I want to kind of tell people now, doubled your income. That's like a whoa. Yeah. Like a wow statement, right? A lot of people try to do a lot of things to do that. And I think that not going through the Akashics is like taking the long way around. I almost always say that, like not knowing what the Akashic records are, it's like you taking the scenic route for no reason at all, right? So let's talk a little bit about what the Akashic records actually are.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, I love this. So basically, the Akashic Records hold the codes to existence. It's our unique journey of the soul. So we all have our own records. And when you tap into them, you can tap into past lifetimes and future potential. So I say future potential because we actually have a huge part in creating how the future plays out and what we are manifesting, what we are creating. It's also a way where we are tapping into collective consciousness. So there's so much wisdom that's available to us in that space, and a way to connect to our spirit team. So our angels, our guides, and our higher self. And from working within the space, what I've come to know, and like one of the main benefits is it takes us above the fear mind, the ego, like who we are and the role we play in this lifetime. And it gives us the broader perspective. It gives us that bigger picture. And that's what happens when we're in this space and we connect into the wisdom of our higher self, and we start to see things in new ways. Because we can all get stuck in like the stories that we tell ourselves based on our belief system and our mindset. And working in the records breaks us out of that, connects us back to who we are on that soul level. And then again, like the support that we receive in that space from our spirit team and that connection into the divine is incredible. And in addition to each person having their own records, so you can tap in and you can kind of explore like your destiny. And a lot of what our destiny is our own desires that we have for what we want to experience that is there in the records for us to tap into. I actually think that's maybe a point to really like let people know, because when we have something we want to create, we want to achieve in our life, that is sacred, and often that is written in the records for us. So it is there for you to claim. So if you have that desire in your heart, it's there and you're able to manifest it, you're able to create it. And we can also see records like animals have their own records as well. Locations have their own records. So it's a beautiful way to like tap into that space. And what you were saying, Angela, of how it's like it speeds things up, right? It's like the way to do it because you're working in this, right? Instead of the action based. Like when you're in the records, you're working with quantum energy. So the way things move and the way things manifest are different. Whereas in our physical body, there's action that's involved. But in the records, we're working with energy. So it's about frequency and it's about alignment. And once we achieve that and we stay in that space of alignment, we're tapped into the energy, we see that come through in our physical manifestations as well. So it's, very cool.
I absolutely love this, because there are a lot of people who I don't think they mean to take the long route to success. I think that it's because of the different beliefs and habits and things that they pick up along the way that makes them either slow down or speed up, that makes them either vote for themselves, take action, or not take action. But if they knew about the records and they had access to the records, and then not only just having access to it, but the ability to mine the Akash, to go through and pick out the things that would help you and understand yourself at a much deeper level and all the things you've amassed, right? I think that it just quantum leaps a person's life. And so not knowing about it and not having access to it, it's like having a flip phone when everybody else has a a smartphone, right? And so it really is something that is amazing, and it's beautiful that it's available for all of us to share. So now I want to hear a little bit about whether or not a person can access the records on their own. Are there any precautions? We know that a lot of data and different things live there, right? And we know that we can access these different things. Sometimes they're in the form of gifts, talents, abilities, right? Insight, right? Intuitive insight, right? And so if a person is going to access this, can you kind of walk us through what that access would look like? Not necessarily. Yeah. What that access would look like. And then if I'm going to have someone guide me through if that's the best way, or if it's something that I can access on my own, and what precautions I need to take.
Absolutely, yeah. Such a powerful question, because the records are definitely available to all of us. There may be people listening now that have tapped into that space without even knowing. I actually found that with many light workers and healers, energy workers, when you just kind of feel like you're channeling a message, like you're getting out of your own way and something's being channeled through you. So we absolutely all have access to the space. We can access the space. And depending on the practitioner you work with, there's probably going to be a different way that they access the space. So even with the free gift that I'm giving out, you'll be guided through the process that I use to tap into the records. And this is one that I love, and it's better experience than explain. Like, it's really, really beautiful process, and I'll just kind of explain it, but again, it's better experience. So definitely get the free gift so you can go through that and access it and experience it for yourself. But it's basically a beautiful meditation to really get grounded and connected into Mother Earth, which I think is really important anytime we're doing energy work. We want to make sure that we're grounded and we are connected. And then also tapping in and connecting into your higher self and into the space of the ether. So we're grounding into our physical body. We're creating that solid foundation for support. And then we're rising above the ego. We're tapping into who we are, kind of above, beyond this lifetime, beyond this physical experience. There's some beautiful energy work I do with our central column of light, just to really kind of ground into our physical body while connecting into our higher self. And then I also bring in the power of sound. So we sound the 5 sacred ohms to open the Akashic records. And it's a really beautiful process, because sound and the vibration of that just holds so much energy and so much power. And then basically that brings us into the space of the records, and then we're really honoring that space, being in that energy. Again, it's better experience, so definitely grab the gift if your heart's guiding you toward that. It's so powerful. So we can do it on our own. I would say if you are new, it is definitely good to have a guide. It is good to have somebody walk you through that space who has been trained or who has entered the records and can hold that energy for you. Like, I know when I was learning to read the records, when I was going through the trainings, even accessing the space, it really helped when my mentor would hold that space for me. Wow. And she would guide me through that process. Like, there was something about her energy and her frequency that allowed me to kind of tap into it. So I do think it's important to do that. And as far as really honoring the space, of course, like, it's knowing that it's a sacred practice. And I think really just honoring ourselves as we enter that space. And I feel like the process of opening the records is a really sacred ritual in itself. And I think ritual holds so much power. And there's, especially when we infuse our rituals with intention. So we do really want to have respect for that space. We want to honor ourselves. And when we go into it with that mindset, we're creating the shifts already, because we're preparing ourselves to know this is a powerful practice. I'm going to have lots of good information and healing coming through, and just honoring that journey, right? So it's basically like that ritual around opening the records that is important to have.
I absolutely love this. And I love how you said that, okay, yeah, you can, but
Mhm.
it's best if it's like your first time going to any new place, right? You can stumble your way around. You might stumble into it. And the reason I say this like this is because, Kara, a lot of people in health and wellness, because a lot of people in this group are people who are leaders in health, wellness, healthcare. They're in some form of service position, right?
Yeah.
Many of them are essential workers. They're in armed forces. They're in a lot of different things, but all of it leads to serving from the heart. And
Yeah.
so those people tend to be huge givers and highly intuitive. And
Mhm.
so those people, believe it or not, they're used to going into a space and kind of just finding their way, right?
Yeah.
But I love how you're like, it may be great if you could have someone walk you through this space. You could get so much more insight from having a curator at a museum be with you versus
Mhm.
just taking the tour on your own. It completely shifts the experience for you. And I think the Akashic Records is something that you definitely would love a guide or be able to connect with a guide your first time to be able to do that.
Oh,
So I want to talk a little bit about, now that we know we have this powerful thing. And I also feel like, I'm like you, I was that teen looking at the horoscopes too, like, oh no, it's not true. Oh yes, it is. Wait, no, it's not. Right? Well, yes, it is, right? So, and not just horoscopes, but tarot and the crystals and all these different things from a very, very young age. And so one of the things that I discovered was the more I leaned into these types of things, the more I learned and the more I was able to discover about myself on my journey. And
yeah.
so because of that, I learned to integrate these pieces together so that they could serve me on my journey, and then I could then serve other people. So can we talk a little bit about, because a lot of these people loved the astrology session and what to eat and how to balance your energy if you've got too much earth, too much air, too much water, too much of anything or too little of anything, what to do to really kind of ground yourself back down into the energy that you naturally had. But I want to really take some time here and kind of discuss how having access to the Akashic Records and brilliant astrology can really, really boost someone's life.
Oh, they're magical together. Yeah, so powerful because they both point to our divine soul blueprint. So like you said, you had the astrologer come in, and I'm sure she probably touched on our birth chart. Like many of us know our sun sign. So you mentioned, I know we're both Cancerians, we're both water signs. And usually water signs are drawn, right, to like intuitive work anyway. But yeah, so we all have our sun sign. And then in addition to that, we have a moon sign, a rising sign, the planets in each of the different houses. We each have elements in our chart that are prominent, and it's basically our unique energy signature is how I see it. And when we tap into that, we gain deeper insight into our soul gifts, our talents, our life path, our purpose, even past lifetimes, how we can really feel at our best. So combining that with the records, what it's done for me is even just bring more information and knowledge through. So even when I'm working on somebody's birth chart or doing a reading, I love to do that in the space of the Akashic Records, because again, there's so much wisdom we have access to there. So what I found is when we're learning astrology, it is very scientific in the sense, like there's certain pieces you need in order to read a chart. You need to know about like the mathematics behind it, all of that. Absolutely. That's like the foundation. But once you have that foundation, there's a lot of intuition involved with it. There's a lot of energy of really feeling into the energy of the planets, feeling how these shifts are going to play out. And that's why you can even talk to different astrologers and you're going to see the same theme. Like if you look at what this full moon or new moon represents, there's going to be overlap in different themes that strongly emerge for everyone. But then everybody also has their unique perspective on the energies as well. And they're going to take their own little twist to it. So I find working in the Akashic Records, looking at astrology in the records, just taps into that knowledge and wisdom that really allows me to kind of channel these energetic shifts and how they can support us in our life and what's going on, you know, even in our planet right now with these changes. Working with astrology and the records brings so much insight.
Yeah.
So basically, they both really point to our divine soul blueprint and give us access to so much information. It's like, it really truly is like coming back home to our soul. So anybody that's looking for clarity, astrology and the Akashic Records can both bring a lot of clarity through on what's going on in your life right now. Like if we're all feeling transformation right now, but at any point in our life, astrology can really help you hone in on that. And same with the Akashic Records, because it gives a bigger perspective. It helps you kind of zone out and see things through new eyes. So yeah, work beautifully together.
I love that. I love, love, love that. And I think that it's such a great time for this now, because a lot of people are looking outside of themselves for answers, right? They are afraid, they're fearful of different things. They know for sure that nothing's going back to the way it was before. That, I think, is a unanimous thing across the planet. Like, no one thinks they're just gonna get up and walk in their old favorite restaurant and just feel the same. There's so many shifts that are happening. It probably won't, not that they won't enjoy it, but the experience has certainly shifted. Their thinking and their thoughts about the experience has certainly shifted. And so, can we talk a little bit about why now is such a divine time, not just a great time, but truly a divinely aligned time for someone to say, even if I've never heard of this, I think it's worth me looking into. Or even if I have heard of this, maybe it's time for me to go a little bit deeper with it. Can we talk a little bit about why now is that great time for that?
Of course. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, we all agree, like, things are forever changing. And I think at first that human part of us that had that desire of, like, when is it just going to go back to normal? I wanted to go back to normal. And now we're knowing, like, well, that can never happen. And that's not a bad thing. We don't want to go back to the way it was, because we're progressing, we're moving forward, we're expanding. And that is part of life. That's what we are always doing. I almost feel like what we're going through right now is like a quantum leap, a quantum expansion, where we are undergoing a lot of change really quickly, but we're ready for it, right? Yeah. And I think it's normal to have the anxiety and fear. I know even for myself, sometimes it can feel like a roller coaster, right? It's like, in some ways it feels like we're in the energy of uncertainty, but we're really learning that feeling of security, safety, stability actually comes from within. So one of the many lessons are being, like, initiated into right now. And the beauty of having access to the Akashic records is that broader picture that I was speaking of, where it really helps us see what's going on in the larger context of things, and also moving us beyond the fear into the energy of knowing, like, the universe supports us. The universe has our back. Like, I fully believe that, like, change and progression, even when it seems challenging, the universe is supporting us. Yes. So having access to the records allows us to lean into that and know, like, we are loved, we are supported, and it gives us that different perspective, making it easier to sink into that energy of well-being. So when we do shift into fear or anxiety, we're able to go back to, what does my higher self know to be? What is my heart? What is my soul, right? They're all kind of interconnected there. Know to be true about these changes and what's unfolding. And I know there's so many beautiful shifts. You're probably too, Angela, right? Like, there's sure, like,
oh my gosh. Listen, there's so much divine information coming through me right now.
Yeah.
On a daily basis. I've always had my rituals where I get up in the morning, and I usually do a mystic meditation and something along those lines. Manifestation journaling, and then I do altar work, right? And that's if I'm not already in the middle of something else, like candle work or something else. But even without all of that, right? Just getting up in the morning, it's like, I was trying to explain to someone the other day, I was like, as soon as I woke up in the morning and then I, got ready to do my meditation, as soon as I closed my eyes, it was like my third eye was like a tunnel, like almost like a Star Wars movie. You know how the words like scroll up, but they get bigger, or it looks almost like a road or a pathway. And I literally tried to ignore it and go back to sleep, but it just kept almost like a what do you call it? Like an air traffic controller, like, come this way, come this way. And it was just like, the visuals were so vivid. They were so stunning. They were so specific. Right. And then for me, I have to either write those things down, or in some cases, if the visualization, if it's something I really don't want to miss, I'll turn on a voice recorder and just explain what I see, so that when I come back to it, I understand the insight that I've been given. Now, this is because I've accessed the records. Like, I've asked and I've petitioned for certain things. And so those things are starting to really kind of pour in now, especially for people who are healers. They are helpers, and they're people who are here to raise the vibration of the planet through love. And so those people get so much tremendous insight, but we want to make sure that we know what we're accessing, what we're looking at, and what we should be following and how to do that. So can we talk a little bit about, let's run to the comments really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Samuel Melendy says, hi, great work, ladies. Nice info. Hey, Samuel, thank you so much for that. Shawana says, yes, that feeling of safety and security is coming from within these days and times. Absolutely, Shawana. That's exactly where it's coming from. And then Marie says, beautiful greetings to you all. Lauren Smith says, yes, greetings. I have heard of Akashic Records, but desire to know more. Thank you for sharing this. Nice. Okay. So definitely, if you haven't already yet, share this out so that other people can get this information. Now's the time for a lot of people to be able to shift. And I think the Akashic Records is something that will give them a lot more clarity on their journey at this time. So before we jump off, the last thing I want to talk about is I want to really kind of dig into how the Akashic Records has shifted your life, or some of the biggest shifts that you've seen. Some of the ones that I've seen, much like you are in the space, not just of income. At first it was money, but then it was, I insult the intelligence of it by just asking for money. So can I have more wisdom, please? Right? Can I have more insight? Can I have more clarity? And I learned to get better at asking and better at petitioning for what it is I need. And then it allows me to sink deeper into not just what I feel like is my soul's purpose, but the know-how to walk out that purpose and to really live that thing and do so confidently and really kind of relax in the power that comes with it, right? Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about how some of the greatest insights you've gained, or and some of the biggest shifts you've seen in your lives or some of your clients' lives?
100%. Yeah, so many. And it continues to unfold. And like you said, with the financial piece, that's just the start of it. And really what that means, like, how that shifted, it was never even like a main intention, but that financial shift happened as I got more into alignment and I started accessing my true creative power. Like when we tap into the space of the records, we see how divinely worthy and powerful we are. And I mean like really personal empowerment that comes from the space of love. Like we step into our creative power. And when we're in that space, we can create anything we desire, right? Like anything we desire. So having that financial abundance come in, having that feeling of health and well-being come in is incredible. So yeah, as far as the shifts, doing a lot of deep healing, like ancestral work as well. Beautiful to do that in the space of the records. If you find you have trauma that you're holding on to that's been passed along through the generations, through your ancestral line, beautiful to look at that in the space of the records and begin to heal that. So a lot of that work, which has been absolutely incredible, because in the space of the records, you really feel that connection to loved ones who made their transition, how their energy and support is still there. And of course, right, like your ancestors that are there holding that space for you. So that has been really beautiful shift. And then the awakening of intuitive gifts, that happens naturally just from being in the records. So even if you get the free gift I have and you go back and you use that process just to open your records, you'll notice being in that space begins to activate your intuition. Because we're working in the space of the records, it's working with subtle energy. So it's not like right away you may hear a loud voice or message. You may, but usually there's an awakening before that. It's a process. You're eased into it. So because you're learning to work with those subtle energies, your intuition is awakening because you're relying on things beyond just your senses alone. And that's like kind of what you explained, Angela, with like that third eye just waking and opening. Absolutely, I felt that in the records. I felt a lot of healing of my throat chakra early on in my journey. I feel like I may have been preparing me, right, to kind of share my message and speak about it. Like I remember just receiving healing to that energy center. So basically, There's healing that takes place in that space, activation of your psychic gifts, your intuition, and whatever you're working on manifesting, it can just really speed up that process by helping you work within the quantum field, basically. So energy and frequency, as opposed to action, like action alone, I should say, which always going to take a little bit longer just by the nature of it. So it's not that we still don't enjoy action, but I've learned more and more to rely on the energy side of it first. It's like, okay, alignment is key. And then from there, I take action, because it's the energy behind the action that really produces the results more so than the action alone. One of the many insights from the record. So yeah, many. It's really, transforms everything. It sounds like that's been your experience too, just on all levels.
It's been amazing. It really has. And I find that it's absolutely critical for people who are looking for that next step, or they're scared to take that next step, or they don't know if this is the path they should go down. But they know the path that they're on hasn't been as fruitful or productive or effective as they had hoped it would be, and so it just gives this outstanding amount of insight that just literally, for me, collapsed the timeline of so many different things, from the proper connect. And when we talk about alignment, it's not just like sometimes people look at alignment as I'm doing what I feel like my heart's purpose is, but there has also been alignment to other people who are part of my life's purpose, right? And other people that I know the path that I was on, I likely would never had access to them, right? So since the shifts have happened, the path to these people is simpler now. It is easily entreated at that point. And so it's more than just alignment to, your purpose and the way the viewer, the way you see things and the way you want to do things, or what you feel your purpose is, but it is also the invitation, right? There is also this vibrational readiness that happens when you are in alignment, and other people can come to you that are supposed to help you on this journey. And I think Kara's one of those people. So.
Thank you, Angela. No, it's so true, right? And like you said, a lot of people here are healthcare providers or they're coaches. Like, I truly believe we have these soul connections and soul contracts with people that come into our life that are very, very special, sacred bonds, right? Like, people find us for a reason. And it's exactly what you said, opening and accessing. I do that quite a bit with the spiritual entrepreneurs I work with in that space. If they're launching a new program or feeling called to put a message out there, being in the records and really feeling into the energy of the people that need that work and how that's already, the contracts are done, right? Like, the intention is there. So now it's just aligning with it and having that courage to show up and trust the people that are meant to work with you will find you. Like, again, it's kind of that feeling in the quantum, right? Or in the space of the flash, the energy, it is done, right? The records are there. So we just need to allow it in. And when we access it, we have those codes, basically, like we're tapping into new codes that awaken things within us, that show us the path, that lead us, right, to not only our path, like you said, but the opportunities, the people, and the connections that are meant to support us on that journey. Yeah.
I absolutely love this. I love this stuff. So can you tell people, before you hop off, if you haven't already yet, make sure you text the word life in if you want to get access to the meditation that will walk you through this. It is absolutely amazing. You want to make sure you grab that. Additionally, I'm going to have Kara let you guys know how you can actually find her, because Kara has some amazing things going on, right? She has amazing things going on in astrology. She does retreats. She does quite a few different things, right? Very, very knowledgeable about this area and the integration of astrology with the Akashic records, for those of you who really, really want to be a part of that. One person says it's more than just alignment for and in you, but also your alignment with, other purposeful people. Those soul contracts, like she just said. Absolutely. And there's people who don't even know people who they might align themselves with. So they think out of the space that they're in now, oh, I could never have access to that, or I would never be able to get that person's attention. And it's like, I don't know. Nothing's off limits to me, because there's records. Right?
It removes those limits, Angela. And I love how you explain that, right? Like we have our mindset, we have our beliefs, but in the records, it's like we're able to shift our old limiting beliefs very quickly. Mm-hmm. And when we shift that and we tap into something greater, we're like, oh, right, if I have a desire to connect with this person, it is destined in a sense, right? Like it's in the records, it's there for you. And any limiting belief as to why you can't is just that. It's a limiting belief stemming from the ego. It's not actually your soul's truth. And that's also why it feels off, right? When we have those thoughts, it doesn't feel right.
So, yeah. And if we're aligned properly, people show up that can help us and show us, and like, that's not your truth. I think there's more for you, you know. That's the beautiful thing about it too. So I want you to share with them how they can find you, and then anything that you have coming up.
Sure, yeah. So my website is spiritualgoddesses.com. So I do a lot of work with the divine feminine as well. It's multi-passionate. So spiritualgoddesses.com. Check that out. I have a free Facebook group as well, Spiritual Goddesses Healing the World Together. Lots of beautiful, powerful trainings in there. And I'm actually doing something really neat right now called 11 Days of Divine Guidance, where I'm going to be tuning into the Akashic Records each day and channeling messages that are coming through. So each day tuning in and seeing what message is wanting to be shared to support people during this powerful time of transformation. And part of that will be meditations in the Akashic Records as well as activations. So activating your intuitive gifts, bringing on these new prosperity codes, abundance codes. So that's all going to just send me a message if you want the details on that. We're starting Wednesday, and right away you get access to a bonus meditation, which is an Akashic calibration. So super powerful. So anyone that wants to go deeper, there's definitely that opportunity to do that for sure.
Awesome.
So to end here.
Awesome. And thank you, Crown Dawn, for dropping that in the comments, spiritualgoddesses.com. And then the group was Spiritual Goddesses Healing the World, right?
Yes. Yep. Spiritual Goddesses Healing the World Together. Yeah.
Awesome. Kara, do you have any last words for everybody before we hop off? Anything you want them to remember before you go?
Sure. Well, I want to say thank you again to you, Angela. You're amazing, and your space is amazing. So, and I know your beautiful tribe that you call in is incredible. So it's an honor to be here. And guys, like a final message is just knowing, and I feel this coming in from the records, knowing how worthy you are, just feeling into the energy that all is well. Things are unfolding as they're meant to. So really trust that. And again, remember that certainty, that security comes from within. And we're really learning to cultivate that now. So yeah. Thank you.
Love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. We really, really appreciate it. As always, you guys, before we part, make sure you pick someone in the comments, whether you're watching this now live or whether you're going to catch the replay with us. Make sure you choose the name of someone in the comments and send them love and light. Anytime we're in these spaces and we're sharing this kind of time together, you want to seal in your time and your expansion with everyone else by sharing and sending love and light to them in the comments. Preferably, you want to choose someone you don't know and send it to them, because now is the time that everybody needs it the most. Okay. If you haven't shared this out yet, make sure you share it out. It's still not too late. And then be sure to text in and let us know that you want the meditation. All right. So she says love and light to Amira. Awesome. So send love and light to someone in the comments. As always, it's been a pleasure sharing time and space with y'all. Until next time, you guys, take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye.